And we start with two Hawaii County police officers facing a judge today in Hilo Circuit Court, not as witnesses, but as defendants.
Our Dylan Ancheta has the charges they're facing and new reaction from the police chief.
Big Island officers Noah Serrao and Blaine Canalillo are facing criminal offenses over an alleged warrantless search of an arrestee's belongings in 2023. They're also accused of trying to cover it up by lying about it and tampering with evidence. The two were charged by the state attorney general on Tuesday.
Serrao pleads not guilty. Okay.
Not guilty as well.
Okay.
Serrao is charged with perjury, false swearing in official matters, and tampering with a government record. He was previously suspended for 50 days. Canalillo is charged with tampering with physical evidence and faced a 24-day suspension. Both have been with the department for 6 years.
Our policies and procedures, our responsibility, I think, are fairly clear. And, these officers allegedly violated that. And that's why we're here today.
Court documents say a report was filed claiming that the arrestee's bag smelled like marijuana and had a glass smoking pipe with meth visible. Prosecutors allege that statement was later found to be false. Interim Hawaii Island Police Chief Reed Mahuna said the two remain with the department but have been reassigned from patrol duties. An internal investigation was conducted. Two other officers who were allegedly involved have already been reprimanded by the department but were not charged by the AG.
This is not easy. I care about all my employees, and I care about all of the members of the community. But when a situation like this occurs, everybody has to remember that the public trust is more important than anyone.
Chief Mahuna said they are complying with the Attorney General's office in the investigation.
Integrity and the public trust is what we do, is what the police department is based upon. And when those pillars are not upheld, we have to move in this direction to make sure that officers are held accountable.
Both men have been released pending trial, which is set for June 8th. Dylan Ancheta, Hawaii News Now.